Good morning, third graders. Today is April 28th, and this is Miss Craig-Mickel. I'm going to be teaching your reading lesson today. Today, what we're going to look at is what's the difference between a topic and a main idea. Our reading lessons are going to be posted every Tuesday and Thursday, and they'll have some practice that you can submit to your teacher or do on your own. You can do these lessons on that Tuesday-Thursday schedule, or you can do them on a schedule that works for you. So maybe for you, it's easier to do them on Wednesday, Thursday, and that's okay. What's important is that you should do the lessons in order, because each lesson is going to build on the lesson before it. On Fridays, there will be a quiz. That quiz will cover the lessons from Tuesday and Thursday. So you'll want to make sure you've done both lessons before you take the quiz. As the weeks go on, those quizzes will cover the weeks before it as well, since each week will build on the week before. Now, this work is optional, but it's going to contribute to your progress report and your report card. More importantly, it's going to help you become a better reader and be ready for fourth grade. Even though we're not in the school building, we can still keep our brains in school by working hard to meet our goals. Are we ready to start? Let's go. Before we go, we need a quiet place to work. We need some headphones so we don't disrupt anyone around us, or a place away from others. You're going to need to write some things down, so you need paper or a whiteboard to write down on, and you need a pencil or an expo marker to write with. Last, you need a ready brain. Here's our goal for today. We want to be able to use the topic to help you determine the main idea of a paragraph. So we've got 3 big ideas here. We're working in paragraphs today, so just short bits of text. We're going to need to be able to find the topic and use the topic to determine the main idea. So we'll know we can do it when we can tell the topic of a paragraph. Once we can do that, we're going to ask ourselves, what about that topic? That's going to help us determine the main idea. Finally, we have to be able to give that main idea as a complete sentence. So those are the 3 pieces we're going to work on today. We're going to jump right into it. A topic is a word or a phrase, a couple words together, that tell who or what a paragraph is about, or a text is about. When you need to find the topic, the first thing you want to do is read once through to get the big idea. So let's do that now. This passage or paragraph is called Crossing the Finish Line. You can read it out with me if you want. Running a marathon is not easy. It takes hard work, practice, and patience. After all, to run a marathon, you have to run 26.2 or 26 2/10 miles by foot. Think about it this way. 26.2 miles is the same as running the length of a football field more than 460 times. People train for a long time to be ready to run a marathon. It takes most people 4 or 5 hours to finish. In 2013, the world's fastest marathon runner finished the race in 2 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Imagine running for over 2 hours without a break. And then we have a picture of a marathon runner at the bottom. So we've done step 1. We've read it once to get a big idea. When I read it, the big idea I get is it's definitely talking. I know it said a lot about running, so I want to give you some strategies. As we become good readers, we start getting hard texts, and that's part of being a good reader. And as we get those harder texts, we need more strategies. You may have read this paragraph and known right away, this is about running a marathon. But I want us to practice using some strategies on this text so that we're ready to use them when the texts get harder. Here's the strategies I use. The first thing is, I like to have a question I can ask myself that I can ask every time. So when I finish reading it the first time through, I ask myself, what is this paragraph about? And I like to ask myself a question because right away my brain starts to look for the answer. And I know it's running a marathon. But now, if you're like, ooh, I don't know how you got there, Miss Sam, here's some things I do when a text is hard for me and I'm not sure quite what it's about. I reread it a second time through. But when I reread it, I give my brain a job. I tell my brain, I want you to look for repeated words or phrases. So let's do that together. I'm going to read again, and we're going to look for some repeated words. Running a marathon is not easy. It takes hard work, practice, and patience. After all, to run, run, we're already signing some repetition. A marathon, you have to run 26.2 miles by foot. Think about it this way. 26.2 miles is the same as running the length of a football field more than 460 times. People train for a long time to be ready to run a marathon. It takes most people 4 or 5 hours to finish. In 2013, the world's fastest marathon runner finished the race in 2 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Imagine running for over 2 hours without a break. Now, I saw some repeated words in there. I heard running, run, running, runner. I bet you did too. So that helps my brain know, okay, this paragraph has something to do with, you got it, running. Now, did you hear any other word that was repeated throughout? I did. That word marathon. So what is it about? It's about running and running a specific kind of race called a marathon. So running a marathon is our topic. Oops. Now, sometimes we don't have repeated words and phrases to help us. So here's some other strategies I can use. I look at the heading. If it has a heading on it, I look at that. A lot of times the heading's job is to tell us what we're going to read about. So the heading of this one is Crossing the Finish Line. Well, I know a finish line is usually at a race. So this helps me know that maybe a marathon is a race. So I could even say running a marathon race. And I also look at the pictures. If you're writing a book or a paragraph and you choose to put pictures in it, those pictures are going to have to do with what the big ideas are. Now, this picture doesn't have a caption, but I can definitely tell this is a picture of someone who is running. So it helps reinforce that that topic that I have, that the topic of this paragraph is running a marathon. Now I want you to try one using these strategies on a different paragraph. Remember, the topic is a word or a phrase that tells who or what the paragraph is about. I want you to ask yourself at the end of this paragraph, what is this paragraph about? I'll read it to you. You can read along. Ready? Monkeys are making mischief in New Delhi. That is the capital of India, a country in Asia. Monkeys have always lived freely in India. The number of rhesus monkeys in New Delhi is growing. Thousands of rhesus monkeys live there. The monkeys are causing many problems. Monkeys take baths in public fountains. They bite people who will not give them food. The monkeys also steal food from people. We have a picture here with a caption, Rhesus monkeys roam the street in New Delhi. We can see all the rhesus monkeys in the street. Take a minute, ask yourself our question. What is this paragraph about? Write it on your paper. Remember, if you're not sure, reread and give your brain the job to look for repeated words or phrases. When I reread, I see a word repeated over and over. Do you see it? I see that word monkeys, 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 monkeys. It's even in the caption. In the picture, I see monkeys more. So I know that my topic definitely has something to do with monkeys. And in fact, you could say monkeys are the topic. If you wanted to be a little more specific, you could say that they are monkeys misbehaving or causing trouble. And that's our topic. This whole paragraph is mostly about monkeys misbehaving. Do you see how reading and looking for repeated words, looking at the pictures and captions, can help you find what a paragraph is mostly about? Remember, if you're stuck, give your brain a job when you reread. All right, let's check in on our goals. So far, we can tell the topic of a paragraph by asking our brain, what is this about? And giving ourselves the job of looking for repeated words, looking for the captions and pictures and heading to help us. Here's where we're headed next. We're going to ask, what about that topic, to help us determine the main idea. All right, the main idea is a complete sentence, and it tells more information about the topic. It helps the reader know what information they will find in the paragraph. So the topic is like the title of the book. Usually the title of a book is just a few words or phrases, sometimes even just one word. It tells the big idea of what the paragraph or passage will be about. The main idea is more like the title of a chapter. It gives more details about what type of information to expect to find about that topic. So I gave us an example here. Tigers is a topic. The main idea could be tigers are built for hunting, and that's more like a chapter title, but in a complete sentence. Let's practice on those same two paragraphs. Now, I have a different question that you're going to ask your brain now. We already know the topic, so now we're going to ask ourselves, what about the topic does it tell me? Remember, this is our top one where we had the article about the monkeys in New Delhi. We already know that the topic is monkeys or monkeys misbehaving. We're going to read again, and we want to ask, what about monkeys does it tell us? Monkeys are making mischief in New Delhi. That is the capital of India, a country in Asia. Monkeys have always lived freely in India. The number of rhesus monkeys in New Delhi is growing. Thousands of rhesus monkeys live there. The monkeys are causing many problems. Monkeys take baths in public fountains. They bite people who will not give them food. The monkeys also steal food from people. When I look at the picture, the caption says, rhesus monkeys roam the street in New Delhi. So now we're going to ask our brain, what does this article tell us about misbehaving monkeys? Well, it says they're making mischief in New Delhi. It says the number of rhesus monkeys is growing, so there's getting to be more and more of them, and they're causing a lot of problems. And then it gives me some examples of the problems they're causing. They're taking baths in public fountains, they're biting people and stealing food. So they're giving me examples of problems they're causing, and they told me why, because there's getting to be more and more of them. If I were to put this together into a main idea, I would say what it tells me about misbehaving monkeys is that misbehaving monkeys in New Delhi are causing problems. But I also want to include this part because it gives two whole sentences to the number is growing and now there's thousands. So maybe I want to say my main idea is because there's getting to be more and more monkeys in New Delhi, it's causing problems? Let's see. Yeah, an increasing amount of misbehaving monkeys are causing problems for people in New Delhi. So I told, what about those monkeys? They're causing problems because there's more of them, and where it's happening in New Delhi, not everywhere. We don't have monkeys on our streets. So I used the information in the passage to answer that question, what about the misbehaving monkeys? To give a little more information in a complete sentence. Now you try. Do you have your whiteboard and your marker ready, or a pencil and a paper? I want you to try writing down the main idea for our marathon passage. Remember to ask yourself, what about running a marathon does this tell us? Crossing the finish line. I'll read to you. Running a marathon is not easy. It takes hard work, practice, and patience. After all, to run a marathon, you have to run 26.2 miles by foot. Think about it this way. 26.2 miles is the same as running the length of a football field more than 460 times. People train for a long time to be ready to run a marathon. It takes most people 4 or 5 hours to finish. In 2013, the world's fastest marathon runner finished the race in 2 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Imagine running for over 2 hours without a break. We already decided the topic was running a marathon. What does this article tell us about running a marathon? Take some time to look at each piece. Notice the first sentence says running a marathon is not easy, and then it tells us why. It takes hard work, practice, patience. It tells us about how far it is. It tells us about some other reasons why it's hard. It tells us it's running the length of a football field more than 460 times. It tells us that people have to train for a long time. It tells us how long it takes to finish. And then it says, imagine running for over 2 hours without a break. So it really wants to focus on how hard it is and how long people train and work. How could we put that into a complete sentence for a main idea? Here's what I said. Running a marathon takes a lot of hard work and a long time. Your main idea could be a little different. You could have maybe running a marathon takes practice and training, or it takes a long time to be ready to run a marathon. And all of those hit on those same ideas. What your main idea needs to have is something about running a marathon taking a lot of work, practice, training, not being easy. All right. So now we've figured out how we can tell the topic of a paragraph, and we know how to ask ourselves, what about the topic, to help us figure out the main idea. We're down to the last piece, and it's the easiest part. We want to make sure that when we give the main idea, we give it as a complete sentence. So, main ideas are a complete sentence that tell about the topic. I gave us one last paragraph example, and I want to show you some common mistakes I see kids make. Here's our example. Tigers are built to hunt. Tigers have great eyesight, especially at night. This helps them see their prey while hunting. They also use their sense of smell to find food. Finally, their sharp teeth and long claws help them to catch and kill animals twice their size. Now, these are not main ideas. The main idea is tigers. This isn't a main idea, even though it's a complete sentence, because the only information you're giving me is the topic, tigers. I need to know what about tigers, and this doesn't tell me what I learn about tigers. The second one, good hunters, that's not a main idea because it's not a complete sentence. Here's how we can combine these two pieces, a complete sentence and information about the topic. It could be, tigers have features that help them hunt. The whole article is about tigers and all the features they have that make them good hunters. We could say, tigers have many adaptations that help them hunt prey. What I want you to notice is neither of these sentences start with the main idea is. It starts with the topic, tigers, and it tells me about that topic. Remember to ask yourself, what does this tell me about the topic? If you answer that in a complete sentence, you'll have the main idea. All right, ready to get to work? Here's your assignment today. There are 3 questions. Make sure to answer all 3 and submit them to your teacher. If you're in Miss Moldenhauer's, Mr. Holmstrom, or Miss Craig-Mickel's class, my class, you're going to submit in your dojo portfolio. You have an assignment named 4/21, today's date, main idea 1. And that's where you'll submit your work. Mr. Heinz and Miss Johansson, you're going to share your response in Google Docs. Your work is going to look like this. Put the date at the top, number it 1, 2, 3, and you'll answer each question there. Remember, on any of these slides, if you need more time, you can just click pause or go back on the video. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. Remember, you can click pause if you need more time. Work at your own pace. Question 1. Read the paragraph below. Tell me, what is the topic of the paragraph? Question 2. Read the paragraph below. What is the main idea of the paragraph? Remember to use the complete sentence. Remember, you can pause if you need more time. I'm going to go quickly. Question 3. Read the paragraph below. What is the best main idea for this paragraph? When you write your answer, you just need to write the letter of your answer. So just A, B, C, or D. That's everything for today. I look forward to seeing your answers, and I'll see you again on Thursday. Bye!